back in 2005, our oldest daughter came to us and said, or she was married for about a year at that point, and said, hey Mom, Dad, we're pregnant, you know, and great, and you have a big celebration like you do. And a couple of months later, they found out it was a boy, and I was very fortunate. They came to me and said, hey, we're naming him after you.
Aww.
You know, which was a tremendous thing for any father. You feel like, well, maybe you really did say something to those kids along the line where they respect you. My daughter called me, and we knew it was getting about time for her to deliver, and she said, hey, Dad, we're on the way up to the hospital, you know, come meet us up there. So I called my wife, who's a teacher at St. Dominic Elementary School. She said, hey, I'll meet you up there. Excuse me, we went up to Good Samaritan Hospital, and got there probably 15 minutes later after my daughter had called, and I see my son-in-law, and he's got a kind of a panicked look on his face. And he said, hey, we just got here, but there seem to be complications, but the doctor told us that they're cautiously optimistic. About 10 minutes later, he came out and he said, we're not sure. I mean, he's delivered. We're not sure whether or not he's going to live. He's back in the NICU, the intensive care unit for children, or for newborns. The doctor actually was kind enough to come out and address our entire family, and once again reiterated, we're cautiously optimistic. We're not sure what happened, but he's not reacting. He's not breathing on his own. And so we were fortunate that the entire family got escorted back into the NICU, and we saw him, and he looked perfectly healthy, a good color about him and what have you and that, but he wasn't moving. For 8 days and 1 hour, which is the name of our foundation, he lived. But during those 8 days and 1 hour, some really incredible things took place. A lot of agony, right? A lot of anguish. A lot of tears, exhaustion, all of those things that you would typically associate with what appears to be an inevitable tragedy. But what also happened was, we got to see what goes on in hospitals firsthand, and particularly the incredible care that the nurses gave, and doctors. But it wasn't so much the medical care that they provided, was the compassion and the kindness that they provided to, not just me, our entire family. So, we took a step back, obviously, during that time, and thinking that, we're very fortunate to have the jobs that we have, and we're well compensated for it, but, we don't compare to what these people do. Just an incredible job. Well, kind of an aside, being so impressed, there wasn't anything we could offer these folks. I mean, there was nothing we could offer them. But with baseball, as I mentioned, being somewhat of a passion of our family, we asked for their autographs, their collective autographs on a set of baseballs. Because to me, those are the real heroes, right? Brandon Phillips, I'm sure, is a great guy, does things for the community, but he doesn't do nearly what a young man or young woman does working in the NICU at a hospital, whether it's for children or whether it's for the aged or for anyone, right? So they were kind of taken back, like, why are we signing these baseballs? And they did, and I'm going to guess we had 2 baseballs, and there's probably 40 autographs on each of those baseballs. One went to my oldest daughter and her husband, the other one with my wife and myself. And then we went out and we got a baseball like cabinet that's shaped like home plate. And all of our family and friends wrote notes to all the folks at Good Samaritan Hospital, thanking them for the care. Ultimately, Stephen passed away, but their legacy of care, kindness, and compassion with us, we wanted them to know that this wasn't just going to pass. This wasn't just, we experience a tragedy and all of a sudden, time heals all wounds. we were going to do whatever we could to support them. So we had a plaque made up. We gave them this case of baseballs, which actually is sits up there today in the I probably have this wrong. Let me say the 5th floor nursery. You can go there and you'll see the baseballs in it. So why does God take a child from a young mother and husband? You don't know, right? But you don't want that child to be just a name on a stone. So, we said, at the very least, let's establish a scholarship for a young man or a young woman in the nursing profession that maybe, can't afford it. And I got to tell you, what we found out was you have moms that are 40, 45 years old that have 3 or 4 kids that are going back to become nurses. And I got to tell you, they're not doing it just for the money, because nurses don't make that much money. Right, they're doing it because it's a calling. So, we've been giving one scholarship away each year. This is so we've given 4 of them away, but we're not. I don't think we're having the impact. Having said that, these people that have, and it just so happens all of them have been women so far. They are so thankful when they receive this. And when they hear the story, they're almost in tears, right? We're grateful for what these young men and women did for us. And, it's incumbent upon us to do whatever we possibly can for them. So that's the story.